Okay, good morning all of you. So in the last class we discussed about types of frame of references and we solved some problems based on the pseudo force, right? So I think you got the clarity regarding that. So when we need to take the pseudo force and how to take the pseudo force, right? And so now in today's class I am going to discuss about this springs related problems here. And about the spring force, we already introduced it or already we discussed in the when you were discussing about types of forces, right? So there we discussed that spring can exert the force on a block in contact with it when it is either elongated or compressed. That means when it undergoes deformation, then only it can exert the force here, right? That means now here I am taking this a system like this. So then here let us consider this as block is connected to the spring here. So a block is connected to the spring and the spring is in undeformed state, undeformed or unstretched or at its natural length. All these are same only. So spring is in undeformed state. Then when the spring is in undeformed state, it cannot exert any force here, right? So then there is no spring force. And here when the spring is either elongated or compressed. So like suppose if the spring is elongated, I am taking here. The spring is, that means the block is pulled to the right so that it undergoes some elongation here, right? Suppose now the block is pulled up to here. Then this spring force is nothing but actually it is a elastic force that I explained already. Elastic force means that elastic force is always, that means it is a restoring force actually. It always try to regain its original shape and size. Once if you are taking a ball and just compress it, then again if you release it, it will try to regain its original shape, right? And so that such a elastic spring also if you are taking just in your hands and just compress it and release it, then the spring once if you compress it, its length will decrease and once you release it, it again gains its original length. So that means when you are compressing it, any such a elastic objects, then some restoring force will be developed inside that. And that about that restoring force, how it restoring force develops, we will discuss all this up to atomic level or subatomic level in this elasticity topic there. That means the distance between atoms will changes and so that the equilibrium of atoms will be disturbed and so that some restoring force will be developed there. It's an atomic level force actually. And so that because of that restoring force, this once the body is the external force is removed, the external force is nothing but some, we call it as a deforming force. Once that external force is removed, then the body will regain its original shape and size. So it is not the property of all the bodies here. Only some bodies will exert such a force here. If you are just to take a rod and bend it, will it come back to its original state? No, right? And so that in some cases it may be possible or some objects may not be possible for that. So that is why there are two types of bodies are there for us, elastic and inelastic objects or plastic objects. And so that we discuss it later. So now some restoring force will be developed here. And so now that restoring force, because of that restoring force, the body will try to regain its original size and shape, right? So in the spring, now you need to remember that is because of that whenever spring undergoes a deformation, some restoring force will be developed inside that spring. That spring force will always try to regain the original length of the spring. So regarding the spring, that we can say here, right? So it always try to regain its original length, and so that here the force acting on this block will be like this. The spring force will be there. Here there is no spring force, so here the spring force will be there. And we discussed already that spring force is directly proportional to the magnitude of the spring force is directly proportional to the displacement here. And so that means elongation, change in length. This elongation means, that means x means either change in length of the spring, either it may be compression or it may be elongation, just a change in length. So this modulus of this force we can write this as kx, where k is some proportionality constant there, right? And that is nothing but actually our Hooke's law. That means in Hooke's law will represent like kx, if spring force is equal to minus kx, that minus meaning is that only it is a restoring force. The restoring force generally will be represented, those restoring forces are represented with that negative sign. And so that here I am taking the magnitude, don't confuse with that negative signs here. That negative sign meaning is it always try to regain its original length. That means if you are pulling the block like this, then force will be along this direction. Whereas if you are pushing the block like this, then that force will be along this direction. That means it is opposite to the deformation what we are going to produce in that object. So because of that reason it is taken as a negative sign. So with that negative sign there is no role here, right? So just we know the how to represent the direction, how to identify the direction of the spring force and its magnitude. That is sufficient for us. And so then here this is a Kx is a spring force expression, and we introduced already about this, and where K is called a spring constant or force constant, right? So it is a spring constant, or sometimes we also call it as a force constant. So Fs by x we can write. This is nothing but actually our Hooke's law. In elasticity we know that Hooke's law, the amount of force required to elongate an object is directly proportional to the amount of deformation produced in that. And so in elasticity we define in terms of stress and stretch, stress and strain. So that is not required here. Just you may remember this expression. So now here the direction according to the our discussion, the direction of the spring force is nothing but now along this direction here. So that means it pulls the object this side so that the spring try to again regain its original length. Now whereas if you are compressing this object here, so let us say this in the same case, let us consider this object is displaced this side, so that some compression is produced in this, so that some extra compression is there from this. Now the spring force acting on this object will be along this direction here. So that means now the spring will push the block here, right? So that it always try to regain its original length. So once the object attains its natural length, then at that instant the force will become 0. So that means just generally by the inertia what will happen is if you are releasing the object, if you are pulling the object from here and if you are releasing this, then actually it reaches to this position and there it won't come to the rest actually, right? By the inertia it continues to accelerate. Actually when it is coming from here to here, the velocity of the body goes on increasing. Just if you release this and if you are considering that as a surface, as smooth surface, the only force is the spring force, right? So the velocity of the body goes on increasing when it reaches to this point here. So the velocity will be maximum when it reaches to this natural length. And as the velocity is maximum or velocity is there here, the body will continues to move along this direction. Once the body is moving along this direction, then spring force will arise along this direction, retarding force. And so that the body will reach us to some position and there it will come to the rest. But still this force will be there here, that retarding force or the spring force. Because of that again it will move back here. So such oscillations will take place, right? So that means if you are releasing it, the body doesn't come to this position and it doesn't come to the rest suddenly here at the equilibrium. Some oscillations will take place there, right? And about those oscillations we will discuss it later in the topic SHM. So here just we need to note that spring force will be developed inside that, right? And here the important thing is the spring force is not only acting on the spring here and this block here, right? So it also acts the other end, fixed end. So that is a fixed end, so that we are not taking. If that is also movable block, if this block is this side also a movable block is connected, then spring force will be there here. That means like our tension in the string, the spring force is also always opposite at the both ends here. So that means here whatever the force is there this side, then this side force will be there along this direction here. And similarly here this side this block is pushing this side and this side also it will push like this, right? And so now the difference between spring force and the elastic, that means this tension in the string, or this spring force can be a pulling force or can be a pushing force, right? That means here it can pull the object or here it is pushing the object here. Is it clear? So here the object is, once if you release from here, this object is released from here. Now the spring force only pulling that object. So it is a pulling force. And if you release from here, spring force only will push the object. And so that means it can be a pulling force or it can be a pushing force. So, and it is always opposite in the both ends of the spring here. The spring force will be always opposite here. And here also we consider that springs are massless springs only. Ideal springs only we consider here. That springs with the mass is not there in our syllabus, right? So only we discuss about massless springs, ideal springs only. And so then ideal springs means then again we can consider that spring force will be same at the both ends of the at any element, that spring force will be same here. Spring force, same amount of force will act at the both ends of the spring there, right? And so next here actually there is some difference will be there between the spring force and the tension. The spring force is not an instantaneous force, and whereas the tension is an instantaneous force. and about that we will discuss it later. So it is not an instantaneous force. That means the spring force does not change suddenly, but whereas tension in the string will change suddenly. If you are doing any sudden changes, the tension in the spring also tension in the string also changes suddenly. But here tension, the spring force does not change suddenly. It will take some time. This so that it is not an instantaneous force, right? And there will be a lot of problems will be there based on that point, and we will discuss that later separately. And so just here, we are introducing about the spring force here. So just mention that about this. The springs will exert force on the blocks in contact with it. The spring will exert force on the blocks in contact with it only when it undergoes deformation. Only when it undergoes deformation. That means change in length. Either it may be increase in length or it may be decrease in length. Only change in length, deformation in the sense, change in length. But when it is at its natural length or undeformed state, that natural length is also said to be undeformed state, then spring does not exert any force. Spring does not exert any force. According to Hooke's law, the magnitude of spring force is directly proportional to elongation or compression produced in the spring. That is simply we call it as a deformation produced in the spring. Elongation or compression produced in the spring. That is, you may write here also mod, that mod Fs is proportional to x, or mod Fs is equal to Kx, where K is spring constant or force constant. This is also called, and the unit you can write this as from this Newton per meter. That's the unit of this spring constant or force constant, or sometimes it is also called stiffness constant here. This K is also called stiffness constant, or simply they will mention as stiffness of the spring. And spring constant, actually it is inversely proportional to the length of the spring here. The spring constant is inversely proportional to the length of the spring. And based on this here, there won't be any problems here, and with such a type of problems, more about the springs actually we will discuss in our work power energy topic, and in SHM, simple harmonic motion, we will discuss more about the springs here. So just here mention that point, it is inversely proportional to length of the spring. So if you are taking a shorter and shorter length, then it is difficult to produce any changes. That means its stiffness will increase there. And we will discuss that. We will derive an expression for this also, the spring constant also, in the topic elasticity. How it is inversely proportional, we will get the clarity about that, right? And mention about that the spring force always acts on the object such that it always try to regain its original length. So that is why we are calling that force as a restoring force here. It restores the original size or original length. And mention those diagrams there. And there mention that point also. Spring force can be a pulling or it can be a pushing force. Spring force can be a pulling or can be a pushing force. And spring force is not an instantaneous force. Mention that also, just mention that also, but tension is an instantaneous force. And about that we will discuss it later separately. Next about some, just here I will introduce the combination of the springs here. Springs in series and springs in parallel. Actually based on that also there are no problems based on this here. Majorly we discuss spring problems in the topic work power energy and in SHM. Here just mention that springs in parallel and springs in series. Just we will derive an expression for effective spring constant. So this is springs in series. So like let us consider this, if two or more springs are there in series. So let us consider these two springs are there in series here. This is say one spring and this is another spring here. A block is attached to this combination here. Right, this is say K1 and this is K2. This mass of the block is say M. Right. Now we are finding effective spring constant means we are going to replace these two springs by a single spring. We are going to replace these two springs by a single spring. Right. And so that it produces the same elongation or same displacement as that of these two springs here. Like suppose here I am taking that x1 is the elongation produced in this and x2 is the elongation produced in this, and here this is k effective here. This value we write it as k effective, and suppose say x is the elongation produced in this. And so now here what we can write is whatever the elongation is there, the same elongation will be produced in this effective spring here. And so now we can write this. The important thing here you should note here is the springs are said to be connected in series when they are connected end to end like this, and the important thing is when they are connected in series end to end, the spring force developed in them will be same. Whatever the force developed in this spring, the same force will be developed in this spring here. So same amount of force will be developed in the spring. Like in current electricity, I think you know resistors in series and resistors in parallel. When resistors are in series, same amount of current will flow through them, right? And so then here similarly the same amount of force will act on them. The amount of force will be same in both the springs here. So remember that point. And so then I can write this as spring force will be constant. So this spring force will be a constant value, so that we can write this as F1 is equal to F2 is equal to F. This will be a constant value. Now this for this spring, first spring I can write this as K1 X1. This is equal to K2 X2, or this is equal to like K effective into X we can write. That's value, right? And so then this value is nothing but you can take this as some F, that constant value, right? And so that is our equation what we are writing here. And so now, so for this what we can write here is the total elongation. Total elongation. So you first mention that points here. The springs are said to be connected in series. The springs are said to be connected in series when they are connected end to end. When they are connected end to end as shown in figure, such that same force acts in them. Same force acts in them. That means spring force will be same for both of them. Therefore mention that spring force is equal to constant. So we are assuming them as some constant here. And so now the total elongation, this x1 is the elongation produced in the first spring and x2 is the elongation produced in the second spring. So mention that also, let x1 and x2 be the elongation of the springs K1 and K2 respectively. Then total elongation x is equal to, I can write this x1 plus x2, right? Because as we are attaching some weight here, definitely some elongation will be produced. This weight will pull that system downwards, and so that some elongation will be there here. Now this x value what we can write is, from this I can write this x value as f by k effective we can write. Just we are replacing f is equal to kx, then x values we are replacing here. Then x1 value we can write this as f by k1 we can write. Plus this value we can write this as f by k2 we can write. Right? And so that f value will be cancelled, then you can write this 1 by k effective is equal to 1 by k plus 1 by k1 plus 1 by k2. Right? So this is the expression for this effective force constant or spring constant when the springs are connected in this series. You can extend for n number of springs here. So for n number of springs you can write this as, so for this 2 you can express this as K effective is equal to K1 K2 by K1 plus K2, right? So this is for the 2 springs. For the 2 springs you can express like this. If suppose if I am taking this n number of springs here, so I can write this as for n number of springs, for n springs in series, so you can write this expression as, just you can extend that K effective is equal to, we can write this as 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2 plus and so on plus 1 by Kn we can write. And if all those are identical, if for n identical springs, for n identical springs in series, just in that above expression we can write this as 1 by K plus 1 by K plus and so on plus n times we need to write here, right? So that means this extension we need to write for n times, for n identical springs if they are. So therefore K effective is equal to n by K we can write, and therefore this K effective is equal to K by n we can write. So it is the effective value if the n identical springs are connected in series. So simply you need to consider like if 2 springs are connected in series, then you will get like K by 2 you will get. So that means 2 identical springs are connected in series. So when you are connecting springs in series, the effective spring constant will be less than that K1 and K2 you will get, or less than the least value we can say. If out of this K1 and K2 values, if K1 is say 100 and this K2 value is for example 10, then effective spring constant definitely will be less than this 10 you will get. So that is a thing what you can mention here. So then effective K effective in series will be less than the least value. That is springs in series here. So just for most of the cases 2 springs will be there for us, and that too in this topic majorly there are no problems based on the series on parallel combinations. Some K effective problems calculations will be there, and those problems also actually we will discuss it later. So then, but here as of now there is no problem, but you should have some idea about this series and parallel combinations here. But because there will be some problems later, we will discuss some problems later based on this combination of the springs. And next let us consider this springs in parallel. So this series is completed for us. So same spring force will be there for both the cases. We are replacing them by a single spring having the same elongation, which will produce the same elongation here. And so now springs in parallel. So now we consider like this, 2 springs are connected side by side like this. Such that a block of mass M is connected here. So K1 and K2. Now we are going to replace these 2 springs by a single spring again, which will produce the same elongation here. So this block, the same block here, whatever mass M is there, this is our K effective now. So just mention that springs in parallel. Springs are said to be connected in parallel. Springs are said to be connected in parallel when elongation or compression produced in them, is same. So that means here elongation or compression will be same here, right? So that means whereas in our series we discussed that force will be same. When the springs are connected in series, the force will be same, but here elongation or compression will be same here. So in one spring it may be elongation, and so that the other spring may be compression may be there. If one spring is elongating by say 1 centimeter, the other spring may compress by 1 centimeter. So that then both are said to be also in parallel combinations. It's a diagram I will say later. And so here in this diagram, according to this diagram, if suppose the springs are connected like this, so according to this diagram, what we can say that if this spring is elongating by 1 centimeter, this spring also increases by 1 centimeter only. Then you can say that both are in parallel if they are connecting like this, right? So in parallel, the elongation will be same here. And so that here I am taking this as some spring force will be developing here, say this F1, and some spring force will be developed here, say F2, and that should balance this F value here. So which is nothing but this mg, you can say that balances this weight here. And so similarly here this spring force, some F will be there here. So this spring force will be there here. This force will balance as this mg here, right? So that force also should balance this. And so now here the spring force developed in the springs will be different. That will be different. But the elongation or compression produced in them will be same, right? And so now I can write this in for individual springs. Just I am writing the spring force equation here. So then F1 is equal to K1 into X and F2 is equal to K2 into X because the elongation or compression is same. And finally for this equivalent spring, we can write this as F is equal to some K effective into X, right? For this spring, I am writing that equation, third equation for this spring here. Now here as the elongations are same, and so now for this equation I am writing this force equation here, right? And so the equilibrium equation for this spring, we can write that equilibrium equation as F1 plus F2 is equal to this F, we can write. This downward force is equal to upward force, that is an equilibrium, right? And so that same force will be there here also. So you can replace this F with the Fs, right? That spring force, equivalent spring force. So this Fs is equal to F1 plus F2, we can write. This Fs is nothing but I can write this as K effective into X, right? So this is nothing but what we are writing here, K effective into X. You can call that either net equal net spring constant. So this is K1X plus K2X, and so that this K effective value will be equal to K1 plus K2, right? So that is now X value will be cancelled because that X value is constant there. So this is effective spring constant here. So K1 plus K2, just we need to add the spring constant of the each spring. Now similarly, you can extend this formula for n identical springs or n springs here. So therefore, I can write this as for n springs in parallel. So for n springs in parallel, you will get like K effective is equal to K1 plus K2 plus and so on plus Kn. Just we need to add that. You can extend that formula even for any number of springs here. And therefore, I can write this as for n identical springs, you can write this as K effective is equal to n into K, you can write, because K plus K plus K plus and so on n times you need to write, so which is nothing but n into K. So this is in case of parallel, when n identical springs are connected in parallel, right? So this we can write this. And so simply you can, from this you can understand that when the springs are connected in parallel, the effective spring constant will increase. That will be greater than that of the largest value in the combination. Like again 110 if you consider, then we are getting 110. So which is greater than the largest value. So you may mention that when springs are connected in parallel, the effective spring constant is greater than the largest value or larger than the largest value. Larger than the largest value in the combination. And so now I will give some information like regarding the spring balances or the readings of the spring balances. So let us take some examples here. So just I will draw some diagrams here. So you need to answer the reading of the spring balance in each of these cases here. So I am taking this spring balance like this. Yeah, this is a balance here. You know, this balance means that just it consists of inside this a spring will be there and some graduated scale will be there here. So just I am taking that we are connecting a block of say 5 kg. Right? I am connecting in one case like this. And in another case I am connecting like the same spring the same spring balance is placed on a table like this, right? So then one end is connected here, connected to this rigid support, and other, now this 5 kg mass is passing over a pulley like this and it is hanging here. This is 5 kg. We need to assume all the spring balances are ideal, and this is also 5 kg weight only. So now here this is case 3 I am taking here. So let us take this spring balance is placed on this table here, right? It is placed on the table. Now both sides this 5 and 5 are connected here. So this side a 5 kg is connected and this side also 5 kg block is connected, right? And the next I am taking like two spring balances are connected like this. One spring balance is there like this, and other spring balance is connected in connected to this other end like this. Both are ideal only. This is 5 kg block here. So this is the scale 1 and this is scale 2. Spring balance 1 and spring balance 2. So now you need to answer this readings of the spring balance in these cases here. So that means in which case what is the reading of the spring balance in first case and in second case and in third case and in fourth case. In fourth case what will be the spring balance readings of the each spring balance you need to answer here, right? So now just mention that in the following cases all the spring balances are ideal. All the spring balances are ideal. Then answer the reading of spring balance in each case. Answer the reading of the spring balance in each case, right? So in first case you can say easily, directly, that is our general case only. We are suspending a block of 5 kg from the spring balance. So it needs that means the reading of this spring balance will be 5 kg weight, you can say, because it reads that mg. Or you can sometimes regarding this weight means no need of mentioning like mg values or m values. So there isn't any confusion regarding this. So sometimes they will give the 5 kg mass and they will mention it as a reading or weight of the block is 5 kg, they will mention that. So that means whether it is mass or weight, you need to observe the unit. So just by noting that one is find the reading of the spring balance, they may ask, for example, and in the options they may give that masses, kgs they may give. So that means you need to observe the unit only, whether they are asking about, whether they are giving about weight or mass means you need to observe the unit. Is it clear? So that means by sometimes by giving the weight of the object is 10 kg they will give. So it is nothing wrong here. That means you need to take that as a mass of the object is 10 kg. So weight means you need to multiply with the g value, right? And so that there is no any confusion. Don't confuse about the words like weight and mass here. So now the reading of the spring balance we need to answer in the first case here. So here the reading of the spring balance here is, I can mention this reading of the spring balance as, so in this first case all of you know that. So that means I am noting that reading of the spring balance as W1 is equal to, say this is 5 kg weight. Just I am expressing it as kg weight, right? So that is the reading of the spring balance. Now can you say what will be the reading of the spring balance in this case? The reading of the spring balance in this case is it 5, more than 5 or less than 5? So in this case also the spring balance reading will be 5 kg only. Let it be W2, the reading in this case. So this is also 5 kg weight only. And in this case both sides that 5 kg and 5 kg are suspended. So in this case the reading of the spring balance is, so the reading of the spring balance in this case is also 5 kg weight. So most of the students will think that the reading of spring balance in case 3 is 0, because that side and this side's equal and opposite forces are there. Is it clear? Is that that way of thinking is correct? So that means reading of that spring balance in that case is also 5 kg weight only. It is not correct. Just to answer in this fourth case also that we discussed already, both the springs are there in series means now it is nothing but like two springs are in series. Spring force will be same. So that means that spring force, whatever the spring force is there here, then same amount of spring force will be there here also. And so that here the reading of this S1 or reading of this S2 both will be 5 kg weight only. Both will reach the same weight here, because we are considering that these two are massless. That means, and if this is having some mass, then definitely its reading will be greater than that of this value here, because it has to balance the weight of S2 and 5 kg also. But we are not taking that case here. Weight of this block is, that means that springs are negligible. These are massless springs we are taking. So when the springs are massless, this spring and this spring will shows the same reading, right? And so now how to answer, means how to say in second case and especially in the third case the reading of the spring balance is 5 kg. So to answer that, simply take the FBD of the spring balance in the first case. If you are taking the FBD of the spring balance in first case, second case and third case, you will get the clarity, right? So just I am taking the free body diagram in that first case here. So if you are taking the free body diagram in this first case here, so then the forces acting on the spring balance are the weight of the spring, that means that weight of this block will be acting in downward direction. This is pulling here. So that means some force will be there here and some force will be there in upward direction on the spring balance. So that force is nothing but you can answer it as 5, right? Because it is 5 kg suspended here, that 5g is acting in downward direction. And so here say some force will be there at the top end. So as the spring balance is in equilibrium, that force should also be equal to 5g only, right? So that means that force acting at the top is also should be 5 only, because then the system is in equilibrium. The system is in equilibrium means the upward force and downward force should be same here, right? And so that will be 5g will be there in that. That means now the top and bottom both the 5g and 5g will be there. Now let us draw the free body diagram for this case here. So if you are taking the free body diagram for this case, as the system is in equilibrium, here this tension T is equal to 5g will be there, alright? And so that this side the force will be 5g will be there here. Let's suppose this is T is equal to, and this side I am taking this tension as some T dash here. So now the T dash should also be equal to 5g only, right? Because the system is again in equilibrium. So this side and this side force must be same for this here, so that then equilibrium is possible. If it is not 5g or less than 5g or more than 5g, some acceleration there should be there for the system here. So now we can observe that now both the cases are same only. This case and this case is same only, that 5g and 5g acting in opposite directions there. Even if you are taking this, you will get the same situation here, right? So this side 5g will be there as the system is in equilibrium, and this side 5g will be there here. So that is nothing but the reading of that. That means simply from this what you should note here is, when the reading of the spring balance is suppose say 5g, then top if you are taking the spring balance like this, then downward this end downward 5g will be there and the top end upward 5g will be there. So that means force at the both ends of the spring will be in opposite directions, so equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, right? So that is nothing but 5g and 5g, and here also 5g and 5g, right? Then the reading of this spring balance is noted as 5g. The force is not only acting at one end. In the beginning of the spring force I said, spring force at the both ends is always equal and opposite, right? And so that here the spring force always, whether you are placing like this or like this or like this, the spring force will be always equal and opposite at the both ends. So that means now all these are identical only. All these cases or even this case also identical. Top and bottom should be same here, right? So this is directly same as that of the first case, so that I am not drawing the free body diagram for this. For this you need to draw once, and for this you need to draw once, and both the whatever the T1, T2 you are taking, all those tensions must be equal to 5g1, right? So it is the reading of the free body diagram. Is it clear? And now here in this we can say one point here or one problem here. In this third case especially, when the masses are equal, then we are saying it as a 5g. That means that whatever the mass is there here or weight of that block, that is nothing but the reading of that spring balance we are saying. Now if the masses of this both sides so different, if one side it is 5 and other side is say 20, or one side is 10, other side is 20 I am taking here. This side suppose say take 10 kg and this side 20 kg, let us take that. Then what will be the reading of the spring balance in that? Can you say the reading of the spring balance in such a case? If one block mass is say 10 and other block mass is 20, the reading of the spring balance will be, so it is not average, or it is not either 10 or not 20. So we need to calculate that value. So let us write it as a problem. So when the mass show difference in that case. And before that I will explain such a similar problem in terms of blocks of the springs. You will get more clarity about that case here. That means the case what I am taking here is, first I am taking in terms of this blocks here. So one block is there on the table. So this side one block is suspended here. And this side another block is suspended here. So like say this is 20 kg and this is say 10, and let us take this value as some 10 I am taking here, 10 kg, right? Now we need to find the T1 and T2 tensions in the string, and then acceleration of the system we need to find. So write that. First write this problem and then I will replace this block with the spring balance, so that you will get the clarity or difference between both the cases. So find tension in the strings and acceleration in the system shown in figure. And so now here you can write acceleration, our direct method. We know already our direct method here. The weight of this block is there in this direction 20g, and weight of this block will be there here 10g, right? And so now weight of this block is trying to accelerate the system in this direction, and now this 10g is opposing the acceleration or opposing that motion of the system here, because it is trying to pull the system in this direction. Is there any role of the weight of this 10 kg block here? There is no role, because this 10 kg weight is balanced by the normal reaction, because that block is moving only in horizontal direction here. It can move either towards right or towards left, right, depending on these blocks masses here. So in this case it will move towards right, and so that there is no acceleration for this direction in the vertical direction here, then there is no role of weight of this block here, right? And so that means there is no any accelerating force for this, because of tension only it will accelerate finally there, right? And so now I am writing this acceleration of the system directly, this net accelerating force by total mass in motion. This we already discussed it there in the beginning of this topic. And so that net accelerating force is nothing but 20g minus 10g by the total mass in motion here, like 20 plus 10 plus 10. And so that this value is nothing but 10g by, that means 100 by, you can write this value as 40. And so that this acceleration of this system as 2.5 meter per second square, right? That is 10 by 4 you will get, so which is 2.5 meter per second square. Now you may take the free body diagram of 20 kg and this 10 kg, then so that you will get the acceleration of this block here. So then FBD of, I am naming this block as A and B because here 10 and 10 is there here. So FBD of A I am taking here. The remaining calculation you can do actually here. This is 20g and this is T1, and so that now the system is accelerating downwards here. So that this 20g minus T1 is equal to 20A, and therefore this T1 is equal to 200 minus 20 into this is 2.5, right? And so that then this value we can write this as T1 is equal to how much? This is 50. So this is 150 newtons T1 value. And now let us write for the free body diagram here, so that you will get the T2 value there. So that this FBD of B, block B I am taking here. So that for this 10 kg block, So this tension T2 is there in upward direction and weight 10G is there in downward direction. This block is moving upwards, right? This block is moving upwards. So either you may consider free body diagram of this also, same answer you will get. So then this value we can write this as T2 minus 10G is equal to 10 into A we can write. Therefore this T2 is equal to 100 plus 10 into 2.5, right? Therefore this T2 is equal to 125 newtons you will get. This is the tension in that string. So the main thing why actually I am saying this problem here is, when the block is there here in the middle, the tension on both sides of this block will be different, because these two are different strings. Those two are different strings, and so the tension in this string and tension in this string will be different. So which we can calculate like this, right? And so that there will be some net force acting on this. This side some T1 will be there. If you are taking free body diagram for this one T1 will be there and this side T2 will be there. So which is nothing but our T1 is 150 and T2 is 125. So that 25 newtons net force will be there along the direction. And so that block will accelerate in the direction there, right? So that is the case when three blocks are connected like this. So that the tension is different here, right? Now I am going to replace this block by a spring balance. Ideal spring balance, that means massless spring balance. So now let us take that problem. So let us take this problem as let us take this as ideal spring balance. So that I am taking this as 10 and 20 I am taking here same. So now you can observe the difference here. This totally need to rub this. So just write it as again another problem. Two blocks of masses 10 kg and 20 kg are connected to the two ends of a spring balance. Two ends of a spring balance as shown in figure. As shown in figure. Then find the reading of the spring balance. Find the reading of the spring balance. So that means in this, what actually is spring balance in the sense, as I said, generally spring balance means at the both ends of the spring, equal and opposite forces will be there, as we discussed in our previous cases. So always equal and opposite forces will be there. That force is nothing but the magnitude of that force is nothing but we are saying it as a reading of the spring balance, right? And so now here similarly there will be equal and opposite forces will be there. So that means as in case of our previous problem, 3 blocks problem, the tension this side and tension this side is not different in this case. It is an important thing you should note here. The tension this side, even though this is one string and this is one string, both are different strings. As both the strings are different, the tension in this string and tension in this string will be same, because they are connected through the spring. Those blocks are, that means those strings are connected through the string here. Like simply you can consider here as, instead of this I am taking like one string like this and another spring balance here, and a block is suspended here, right? Suppose say 10 kg. Let us take it as a spring balance for example. Then what is the reading of the spring balance? Spring balance reading is nothing but we know 10 kg weight, right? So then if I ask what is the tension in this string? So tension in the string is also 10 kg weight only. The reading of the spring balance, that means when the spring and the string are connected like this, end to end, whatever the spring force is developed in the spring, same tension will be there here. That will be equal to the tension in the string when spring and the string are connected in series like this. So here similarly, now this string and this string are connected through the spring here. That means it is a single system only now. Just here these two are connected by a spring here, right? So that whatever the spring force is developing here, same tension will be there this side and same tension will be there this side. If you know that point, you can solve the remaining problem easily. So now is it clear? When the spring and the string are connected like this, whatever the spring force is there here, same tension will be there here also in the string also. So that means spring force and tension in the string are equal if the spring and the spring are connected end to end, right? And so now simply here we need to consider this as tension in the string is same here. So this side whatever the tension we are taking, same tension will be there here. The remaining problem now we need to find. Now the reading of the spring balance is nothing but T. So now our aim is the reading of the spring balance means our aim should be to find the tension in the string. So once if you calculate the tension in the string, then that is nothing but the reading of our spring balance, right? So that means just to mention that when the spring and the strings are connected end to end, when the spring and the string are connected end to end, the tension in the string is equal to spring force developed in the spring. Therefore in this problem tension in the string will be same. Tension in the string will be same on either side of the spring balance. Then remaining calculation I am saying here. So that is nothing but now the net force is nothing but you can write it as 20g minus 10g by. Now the total mass is only this 20 plus 10 we need to consider here because that spring balance is massless here. This is massless. And so that this value is nothing but 10g by 30. So which is nothing but g by 3, the acceleration of the system. Then now just you can take the free body diagram of any one block, then you can calculate this tension here. So FBD of 20 kg block. So FBD of 20 kg block if I consider, then this tension upwards and 20g downwards here. And now it is moving down with an acceleration A. Therefore this 20g minus t is equal to 20a. Therefore this t is equal to 20g minus 20g by 3, right? And so it is 60 minus 20, so it is 40g by 3, right? And so therefore the reading of the spring balance is, so reading of spring balance, is nothing but T. So which is 40 by 3, 40g by 3 newtons you can write, or you can express it as 40 by 3 kg weight you can write, because our 1 kg weight is nothing but g newtons. So that means now we can express, now that is nothing but our tension here. That means for the spring balance, as we discussed in our different cases in the reading while discussing the reading of the spring balance, so here tension and tension T will be same on both sides here. So now the T is nothing but our reading of the spring balance here, right? So that is a spring balance in such a case means you need to answer like this. And here the reading, regarding the reading of the spring balance, one more case will be there. I think you can calculate that one. So I will give that two cases, then solve those two problems. So here just one of the problem is like the two blocks are connected like this. So like here this is a spring balance here. Now the same case I am giving like this, the whatever the previous discussion we discussed there. Like now I am connecting those two blocks by a pulley. Now find the reading of the spring balance here. This is say 20 kg and this is 10 kg, right? Now we need, and now let us extend this problem here. So that means now the same system is suspended in a lift. Now I am taking this, the same system, this 10 kg and 20 kg block system is suspended in a lift here, say which is accelerating with an acceleration of g by 2. That is accelerating upwards with an acceleration of g by 2. then reading of the spring balance you need to find. This is again 20 kg and this is 10 kg. Is it clear? I think all of you can do these calculations, I hope. Here spring, first of all let us think about reading of the spring balance means what we need to find here. What is the reading of the spring balance here? Is it the tension in the string? Is the reading of the spring balance? The tension in this string, the tension which is connected to this tension in the string which is connected to the spring balance here. So that is the tension. Suppose if you are taking this as T and T, for example here, the tension in this string if you are taking as T, and we know suppose this T dash here, tension in this string, the string which is connecting this pulley and the spring balance. So that tension you can write this as 2T. Free body diagram of pulley I already explained there. Pulleys or massless pulleys. For massless pulleys, upward force should be equal to downward force, because mass is 0 means net force MA value should be always 0. And so that here we need to consider this upward force is equal to downward force here. So that tension here T is equal to 2T you can write. So that means you need to find the T value first, then tension reading of the spring balance means you need to write it as 2T. And here also same. Here also same. But the only thing is the system is accelerating upwards. This we already discussed in our previous like pseudo force discussions there. Whenever that system is accelerating, like here the forces what we need to consider here is 20G. Means just I will explain the forces so that you can solve by yourself. So this is 20G weight of the block. In addition to that, you need to take 20A pseudo force. That pseudo force you should take opposite to the direction of acceleration. So right. So 20G will be there. In addition to that, 20A will be there. And so similarly here 10G will be there, weight of this block, and in addition to that 10A will be there, right? And so that now you can write this acceleration of the system. That means now we are solving with respect to the lift here. With respect to the lift we are solving there. And so here again the reading of the spring balance means we need this T dash value. If you are taking this as T for example here, then again our T dash will be equal to 2T. There also our concept will be same only. But while calculating this T dash T value, you need to additionally consider, in addition to this weight, you need to consider this reading. So that means the pseudo force is also there, right? So that means take that pseudo force, include that pseudo force and calculate the tension, and from the 2T will be the reading of the spring balance. So solve these two problems here. Find the reading of the spring balance. Find the readings of the spring balance in the systems in the following cases. Just mention that in the following cases. And here this you may mention that if you want to clarity, the spring balance is suspended in a system which is accelerating up with an acceleration of G by 2. Which is accelerating up with an acceleration of G by 2. Right? That is a reading of the spring balance you need to calculate here. So solve those two problems based on the spring balance, and some other models are there based on the spring forces. So I will explain those problems in our next class, right? Thank you.